is for connecting to machines and connecting to tools and leveraging vision systems, for instance. But we're oftentimes, being looked at to assist a customer with their journey to fully automating a factory. So we like to kind of move to this area of the showcase where we have more pieces of equipment, more robots, another camera system, these tiles which handle the product flow for us, an integrated scale to weigh our control unit to make sure the components are assembled. All of these things are individual assets on the shop floor from different hardware vendors, whether it's KUKA or Mettler Toledo or Ascentix. These
the scales are from Mettler.
Yeah. The scale in between the KUKA robots is from Mettler Toledo. So we really kind of come to this station to show how we can orchestrate machine-to-machine communication with SAP solutions, and in maybe a lights out factory type of scenario, automate this end to end so that the operator can maybe work entirely hands off and let the machines and the connected assets capture all of the data for us and make the decisions for us.
What are the things that are moving on the floor?
Yeah, so that is the machine from Beckhoff, and it's a magnetic tiles and maglev technology that they are using. And this is just a small model of a very big piece that could be, and you can dynamically decide the material flow based on what's happening on the floor, right? I mean, we see application of this in food industries and a lot of small component manufacturing as well. So tiles right now, we are moving it kind of in a circle way. It can really go in a linear, in a side way and kind of change the path, right? So pretty sophisticated machine, yeah.
Are these tiles able to carry loads? I mean, are they bases for robotic movement, or what's the role of the tiles?
Tiles are the carriers of the product, right?
Okay. So they are like a warehouse robot then.
Right.
Yep. That's a good example on a small scale, just like an AGV, a robot in the warehouse. Yep.
These are process orders that have already been planned and released to me, and now I can execute them here on the shop floor. And let me select, this one is for a red material. We have the ability to produce all sorts of different colors based on the recipe, and some steps. So the first step is to take that premix that I made over on my weigh and dispense station as Rakesh was saying, it gets added into the mixer here through the visual instructions here. And I'll just do that in the background so we can get started. But that starts my the clock on when I've started producing, because we're going to capture some OEE metrics on how I'm performing and the rate, if I'm achieving the desired rate. And then I'm going to start the mixer, but just before we start the mixer, we'd like to bring in some elements of quality. And here is just a quick indication, and these are live values here from the sensors on the machine as to see whether or not my key quality parameters are in range before I start the mixer. And we can kind of show that. So check it beforehand and also can check it during the operation. So I'll start the phase. And then this will start the mixer here in just a minute, and we'll flip to the camera on the front of the mixer, and I'll sort of explain what's happening here. So our manufacturing execution system has passed the recipe parameters to the controller in the mixer to tell it how much of each one of these different color ingredients to add to get our desired end result for the recipe. And this one was for a red material. So currently this valve is open and it's allowing that red material in the storage tank up here to pass down through these series of pipes and into our main mixing vessel. And this one was open the longest because what we're producing is a red material, but we do add a little bit of the green material and then a little bit of the blue material. And you can see each one of these valves, as it opens, the LED turns green to show the material flowing through. And then finally, the end result is that kind of reddish, pinkish material that was called for with our recipe. And then we capture things in addition to the quality parameters. We do capture energy usage for the mixer, so we can kind of build on that sustainability story. And I'm not going to show filling in the interest of time. The very last thing I'll show, and we'll flip back to the screen here, is just the end result, that batch traceability that I talked about. I'll pull open, this is the batch information cockpit. This is, again, back in our ERP system, but it shows, and this happens in near real time, everything that I've done here on the shop floor is captured and reflected in this batch report. So the 3 ingredients that I would have added to our premix are captured here, the batch of each one, the amount that was added, and then the large batch that I produced in the mixer, that 200 liters. And then finally, if I had gone on to the filling station, we would have captured the finished good in the plastic bottles, and those as well.
So from a traceability perspective, you can go all the way back to the source.
Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct. And this is useful in recall scenario, right? So if you can show our final material traceability report, where we can trace where each and every ingredient originated. If there's a recall on any particular ingredient, you can also trace it to which customer you have shipped as well, right? And this is part of our logistics business network, which kind of grabs all the data points that we have collected in ERP, in the incoming purchasing, during manufacturing, during the shipping, and then we kind of show the customer the power of all this data coming together in an easy way to consume.
Great.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is just an example of what if one of the ingredients in my premix was recalled by one of my suppliers because there's been some contamination found in that lot that they shipped to me. And because I have this information that we're keeping track of in our logistics business network, I can quickly see, what batches have been affected by that recall, that particular ingredient, and where it was used. I can see it in kind of a list format, but then one of the other nice features here is we can see in a little bit more of a graphical format the path that material took as it went through the different steps in our process. So at the very beginning, we can see when my supplier produced it, maybe even raw materials that they used to produce that additive. We can see that it was delivered to me, and when I took receipt of it, we captured important information like the batch number, the expiration date, whether it was certified in different ways. And then we can see, because we use that material to produce 3 different recipes, we can see it was used to produce these 3 different styles of product. And then from there, where did it go after it was produced? It was delivered to maybe my customer or my other facility.